Hello, welcome back. Today we're going to read Extremes and Breakdowns from page 48 to page 57 from Richard Williams' book, Expanded Edition, The Animator's Survival Kit. Extremes and Breakdowns. Take the example of a swinging pendulum. The extremes are where there is a change in direction, the ends of the action where the direction changes. Then you see extreme and extreme. Because the pendulum's arm maintains its length as it swings, the middle position creates an arc in the action. We can see how important the middle position between the two extremes is going to be to us. It is obvious how important the middle position is. In the 1930s, they called this the breakdown, drawing or passing position between two extremes. We'll add two in-betweens. So you see the 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and the 1 is the extreme, the 2 is the in-between, the 3 is the breakdown or passing position, the 4 is the in-between, and the 5 is the extreme. Some animators underline the breakdown or passing position because it's so important to the action. I have the habit of doing this because it's a position which is crucial to helping us invent. We are going to make tremendous use of this middle position later. If we want to make our pendulum ease in and out of the extreme positions, we'll need a couple more in-betweens. So our chart will look like this. Slow out, slow in, ease in. What we are doing is easy in or easing out of the extreme positions. Slowing in or slowing out is the classical terminology for it. But I prefer today's computer animators' term of easing in and easing out. To make the action even slower at the ends, let's add a couple more in-betweens. Now our chart will look like this. Ken Harris always called it cushioning, which is a nice way to think of it. Master animator Erik Larsen, who became the instructor of the younger Disney animators, says that what animation has to have is a change of shape. So let's change a closed hand to a pointing finger. So you see extreme 1, close, and extreme 5, which is pointing. If we ease out of number 1 in order to point number 5, the chart will be slowing out, then easing out. 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, 1, 2, 3 positions are really close. 4 is somewhere close, but in the middle. And 5 is at the other. Well, 5 is at the other half of the line, so it's going really fast. Alternatively, if we snap out or speed out of the closed hand and ease in or cushion in to the pointing finger, the chart will be slowing in, easing in. It is the same thing but vice versa. For a more relaxed, slower action, we could add more in-betweens and ease out the closed hand. The speed through the middle and then ease into the pointing finger. Slowing out, easing out, then slowing in, easing in, or cushioning in. The animator can get away with just drawing the two extreme positions and make a chart for the assistant to put it all the in-between positions. I was spoiled by being taught by marvelous, hand-working, top Hollywood animators, and I had a few shocks when I worked with them of the lesser mortals. Here's how a Hollywood hack animator might duck the work. A character enters screen left and goes out screen right. And it says scope screen, I think. So if you see me, I'm going to do the math here. It says 96 and it says 4 seconds, 96 frames, so divided by 4 is 24 because we're doing 24 frames per second. To walk across the screen, it's going to take 4 seconds, 96 frames. So the animator does drawing number 1 and drawing number 96 and gives the chart to the assistant and goes off to play tennis. He wanders back in next day and blames the assistant for the terrible result. This may seem far-fetched, but it does happen. Moving on, we know the extremes in the breakdowns are crucial to the result, but the in-betweens are also very important. Genie in the computer creates perfect in-betweens. But for drawing people, getting good in-betweens can be a real problem. Grim Natwit constantly intoned, "Bad in-betweens will kill the finest animation." In 1934, when the novice Milt Kahl, having just started work at Disney, first met the great Bill Titala, he told Titala that he was working in the in-betweening department. Titala barked, "Oh yeah? And how many scenes have you screwed up lately?" Like most people starting out, I did all my own in-betweens. Then I got my first official job animating for UPA in London. They gave me an inexperienced assistant who drew well. But this is what happened. We had a simple character of the period, a little girl called Aurora, who was advertising Kia Ora orange drink. Where's the Kia Ora Aurora? I drew drawings 1 and 3 and 5. My assistant put in the in-betweens 2 and 4. He had ambitions as a designer, and he did not like egg-shaped eyes like this. He liked circular eyes like this. So the in-betweens all went like this. The result of the screen, of course, is this. Wobble, wobble, wobble. As is common in production, when racing to meet the deadline, we end up hiring anybody off the street who can hold a pencil. And this is what happens. Say a live actor is holding an animated coffee cup. The in-between from the streets doesn't understand simple perspective, so the curved top of the cup gets put in straight on the in-betweens. Result, frying tonight, wobble, wobble, wobble. And if this wobbly with a simple thing, just imagine what it's going to be like when we are dealing with complex drawings. All the drawings, all the shapes will be doing St. Vitus's dance, so the assistant's or in-betweener's job is really volume control. A lot of assistants worry about the quality of their line, matching the animator's line quality. I always say never mind the line quality, just get the volumes right. Keeping the shapes and volumes consistent equals to volume control. When the thing is colored in, it's the shapes that we see, it's the shapes that dominate. Whenever we were under the gun and short of skilled helpers, we found if we outnumbered the dodgy in-betweens by 3 good drawings to 2 bad ones, We just scraped through with an acceptable result. When we only had 2 good ones with 3 bad ones in between them, the bad ones outnumber the good ones and the result was lousy. If the breakdown or passing position is wrong, all the in-betweens will be wrong too. When we are not accurate, here's what happens. The animator supplies a chart and wants equal in-betweens. This is putting them in the right place. But let's say that assistant puts the breakdown or passing position slightly in the wrong place. 1, 4, 5, and 4 is in the middle. The assistant puts number 4 in here, not okay. If it's only 1, 4, 5, and not 2 or 3 without it. As you see in page 56, number 2 in the red circle, then someone puts number 2 in here, really close to number 1, which is in black, I think. Number 3 really spaced out from number 2 and almost in the middle of number 4, which is in the middle, like I said, and number 3 and number 4 are red, which says for number 3. Then the in-betweener puts in number 3 here. Then number 4 says, already not okay. Then 5 in the other half, at the end in the right, is 5. So number 4 is wrong. 3 compounds it, 2 compounds it more. And instead of ending it up with fluid actions like this, which is what I am going to animate soon, we'll get this all over the place kind of thing. One thing an animator should never do is to leave his assistant to make thirds. If we need to divide the chart into thirds, the animator should make one of the in-between positions himself. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1 is extreme, 2 is extreme, 3 is an in-between, and 4 is an extreme. And it is evenly spread out. In order to leave the assistant to put in the remaining position in the middle. Leaving thirds to the assistant is cruel and is asking for trouble. But it's fair to make a chart like this, calling for an in-between very close to an extreme. See 1 in the far left at, let's say, 0%. And at the bottom of it says make one in-between closer to 3. And the second is an in-between, like I would say 90-ish% of the line, closer to 3. And 3 is in the far right. And the chart in the right says make one in-between closer to, I'm guessing, to number 1. Number 2 is really close to number 1, like 10% I would say. Make one in-between closer to 1. So add the charts closer together. Like together into 1, I mean. Make another in-between closer to 4. And that is it. Here are the animations of the ball, the moving head, the cup moving, in color and not in color, the man flicking his finger to a pointer. I did the pendulum. That's it. Goodbye and see you next time.